Namo namaha, swagatam svarvebhyaha. Now, we've been looking at non-aganas, of course, in our present system, in our lat. And it's time now to turn our attention to the last of our, what I call the easier of the non-aganas, which is the ninth class, and it's called the Kri Gaṇa. Now, the Kri Gaṇa is not named after any characters in the Marvel universe, but rather it's named after the root kri, which means to buy or purchase something. This is going to be conjugated as krinati. He buys, she buys, it buys. Krinami, I buy. Or krinimaha, we three or more are buying something. The stem formation is going to be fairly straightforward. It's similar to the 5th and 8th classes. Let's dig right into it. Here too, we're going to be adding two different Gaṇa markers depending on whether we're doing the strong stem or weak stem, two different markers. In the strong stem, we're going to add na to the root, while in the weak stem, we're going to get root plus ni. Na, ni. That's it. It's the nani class. Maybe you can think of the grandma class if you know Hindi. So for the verb kri, to buy, we're going to add our na to get krina in the strong stem. If we add, we'll add the marker ni to get krini in the weak stem. Notice here, in both cases, the long e is going to trigger our internal end sandhi rule. The dental end of the Gaṇa marker is going to get retroflexed. Krina, krini. So in the conjugation of the parasmaipada forms, we're going to find krinati. He buys, she buys, it buys. Krinitaha. The two of them are buying. Plural is going to be krinanti. They buy. Here we have to notice that the of the anti is going to force the long I to drop in the Gaṇa marker. That's going to happen for all of the endings in this class which begin with a vowel, both in Parasmai and Atmanepada. In the second person, we'll use the strong stem in the singular to get krinasi, you buy. Notice here that the S sandhi rule doesn't get triggered because our vowel is a, long a. Next, we're going to use the weak stem to get krinita, you to buy, or krinita, you buy, you plural. For the first person, we'll use the strong stem in the singular, krinami, I buy, I am buying. Then there's krinivaha, we too are buying, or krinimaha, we are buying, plural. Many of these non-agana verb roots, kri, can also get conjugated in an atmanepada form. And let's take a look at the kind of sandhi oddities we're going to find in atmanepada. Here again, remember, atmanepada is you're going to use the weak stem everywhere. It's everywhere weak. So it's always going to be krini something. Third person, we're going to get krinite, he, she, it buys. Then we're going to get krinate, the two of them buy. Your ate is going to cut off your long E of the Gaṇa marker. So we get krinate. Same thing happens with the plural. The ate is going to cut off the long E, and we'll get krinate. Again, notice that the plural ending doesn't have the N. It's just ate, not ante. Krinite is singular. Krinate is dual. Krinate is plural. Very, very similar forms. So I'm sure it's going to be confusing when you start reading texts, but it's something you have to be cautious about and go back to your paradigms when necessary. In the second person, it's a bit more straightforward. We get krinishe, you buy. Here again, you get your S sandhi rule now because of your long I in the stem, in the Gaṇa marker. Krinate, you too are buying. Long E is dropped again. And then we get krinidve, you plural are purchasing something. In the first person, we'll get krine. Like in all of the other vowel initial endings, the long I in the Gaṇa marker is going to get cut off. Avam krinivahe, we both are buying. Vayam krinimahe, we three or more are buying or purchasing something. Now, we should note that there are actually not a lot of different ninth class verbs. And again, like the 8th class, we're not going to see a lot of them out there in the wild. But there is one very common and recurring verb that you will find. And again, it's going to be irregular. So we should dig into it. We should maybe go through the forms so that you're familiar with it. This is the root nya, which means to know. It's very important for knowledge to know how to conjugate nya. The nya is irregular. It's going to lose that nasal, and it's instead going to become ja. Jana is the strong form. Jani is the weak form. So we get the strong form, janati. He knows, she knows, it knows. Janasi, you know. Janami, I know. In the third person dual and plural, we're going to use the weak stem now and get janita. They too know. Jananti, they plural know. Here, the anti forces the long e to drop. Again, jananti. The second person endings, janita, you both know. Janita, you plural know. In the first person, we get janivaha, we both know. Janimaha, we all know, we three or more. So that's nya in the parasmaipada. It also frequently is found in the atmanepada, so it's worth running through these forms as well to get the practice. Jani is our weak stem, and we always use the weak stem for all the atmanepada forms. Jani te, he, she, it knows. Janate, they both know. Janate, they know three or more. Again, it's very similar forms, right? And again, we lose the nasal in the plural, not ante, ate. So in the second person, we're going to get janishe, you know singular. Janate, you both know. Jani dwe, you three or more know. Finally, in the first person, we're going to have aham jane, I know. Right? Where again, the long e is going to drop because of the ekara in the word in the ending. Then we're going to have a straightforward jani wahe, we both know. Jani mahe, we all know, we three or more. So that's what we know, right? And we know all of these ganas. There's only 2 more classes left to go till we learn the whole present system. Trust me, these are not going to be straightforward. They're the most challenging in some ways to wrap our heads around. We'll start with the next time. We're going to start with our third class, the hu gana. So until then, thank you for watching. See you next time. Punarmilamaha dhanyawadaha.